Up to this now, the Fair Trade Independent Tobacco Association is taking government to court over its about turn on the sale of tobacco. President Cyril Ramaphosa says he was part of the decision to reconsider the sale of tobacco products. But for more, we're joined by eNCA political editor, that's Vuyo Mvoko. Mr. V, good to have you, and good afternoon to you. We heard that the presidency defending the president to say that his executive powers were never compromised or even undermined, saying it was more of a collective decision that was taken.
It was indeed important, Tumelo, for the president to set the record straight, because there is no Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma who have had on her own to go out and take a decision and announce it to South Africans. And hopefully people would have learnt that they can love and appreciate what President Cyril Ramaphosa is doing, the leadership he has provided up until now, but they can do so without necessarily having to vilify the rest of the members of his executive. But hopefully it's also a lesson to the government that it needs to communicate efficiently and effectively, because the minute people started separating certain ministers from the president or the rest of the cabinet, things were going to go haywire. So it's very important to rein in even those like the Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, who may be or may find nothing wrong in going out there and saying to South Africa, well, I wasn't part or was part of this or the other decision. It's important for those people to be reined in, because we need unity at this point, and really everyone has to sing from the same book. If you've been defeated, at cabinet or at the command council when they were having conversations around this matter, then when the final decision has been taken, you just need to abide.
Well, it didn't take long for that pronouncement by the Minister of Finance that he didn't agree with that decision to attract the ire of the ANC Women's League, for example. But Bravi, tell me about what do you notice as a pattern among the people that were criticizing and sort of singling out Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma? I did notice that part of the conversation gained a bit of traction following pronouncements by Dean McPherson of the DA, as well as the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen. But it wasn't just the opposition, was it? There were also various industry lobby groups.
Yes, there were obviously business interests here. And the government should have the courage to actually, stand by decisions that it takes, which are based, one would presume, on science and the concern for, the protection of lives, as the president says in his newsletter this morning. It cannot be that people will support the president or cabinet or command council decisions if only they do not threaten their business interests. And I think that is wrong. And the same goes for the opposition. It's about time people really stick with facts and, of course, science, which is the reason we have a command council in the first instance. It's not like President Cyril Ramaphosa co-governs with the command council, but the reason you have that command council is to ensure that every aspect or facet that is relevant, in whatever decision is taken after extensive consultations. People would have slugged it out at that command council meeting, and the same would have happened at cabinet, where those decisions of the command council get to be ratified. And at the end of the day, no one speaks out of turn and actually communicates the meeting of the collective. But equally important is cabinet and ensuring that their decisions are actually communicated effectively. Because if you look at some of the briefings, they do leave a lot to be desired, and that too must be rectified. Because if you listened, you listened to us to the Tobacco Association's Sinenhlanhla earlier, saying they're going to actually, capitalize on that perceived lack of unity among members of the cabinet for whatever argument that they are advancing at the courts. They are also capitalizing on the fact that there were clearly wasn't sufficient consultation before the president actually said to the nation that they were going to relax the regulations on tobacco. So he is now going to have to be forced to actually tell, at least the courts, why he went ahead and made that pronouncement before there was sufficient consultation. So hopefully lessons have been learned here.
Right. And also about that decision, Mr. V, why the about turn by the president, and also, taking a back turn on that decision and that announcement previously made?
Yes, indeed. I mean, he is now going to be forced. It's going to be interesting to hear one who wishes that they were part of that, they will be part of that conversation that's going to sit and put together a responding affidavit on the part of the government, because now he's going to have to put that out there. And I think there was a missed opportunity this morning. The president, I think, could have enriched the conversation that is currently ongoing by, at the very least, putting out there some of the reasons. He actually went ahead and said there was going to be a relaxation of the regulations, and with that, take us into his confidence and tell us why the decision was taken, or the about turn was in fact arrived at.
It sort of harks back, doesn't it, Bravi, for me, to a conversation I think 2 years ago, former President Thabo Mbeki explaining how decisions are arrived at in cabinet, and that's when we learned this expression of a federation of ministers, and the chair of cabinet then takes everything. Bravi, thank you for that. And